Hi everyone, and welcome to another edition of Seal of Approval. I know I was really slow in putting up the link for this week's stream. The truth of the matter is, I kind of fell asleep earlier. Like I was just curled up with Cammy.
Real nap
and
hours.
but like it is,
Nap
it's like
status.
got violated.
the cats are amazing, like kind of hot water bottles. Like as soon as one falls asleep on you, you feel like obliged to fall
controlling
asleep.
your Rose.
She is. I mean, now she's just on the lookout, making sure that I don't get ambushed while streaming. So Cammy has a very important role to do. So sorry if it's a little bit kind of scattered this because I know that we've been kind of a bit, I don't know, all over the place over the last couple of weeks with because we had like a 2-week period where we didn't do any streams, and I've just been very scatterbrained. But soldiering on. No injuries this week. No,
it's like a weird hive mind thing.
Yeah, May has been a fried month.
It's been a bit weird.
It's it's not been not been the best month for me either, but we soldier on. I'm sorry, I'm going to get very briefly sad because I lost my little cat last week. About literally a week. Yes, literally a week ago.
Can we get some F's for Rams?
F's
no, it was
for Trig's cat.
A big sad one there.
Oh,
So
no.
I will not say any more on it because I will start maudling because she was lovely.
Sad Rams.
Yes.
I'm really sorry to hear that.
Oh, so am I, to be honest.
Of course.
We soldier on. These things happen. Unfortunately, with pets, you don't have them forever.
No. But the time that you do have,
they are awesome hot water bottles and general cuddlers and destroyers of furniture. Yes.
Yeah, it's one of the things with, I've lived with cats in the past. People who would watch my channel for years, Gatsby.
Gatsby the evil cat.
He's not so much that he's evil. It's just that he seems to the kind of energy that sustains him is just like pure hatred and disdain for everyone who isn't him.
He's a cat. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, he is like the.
You're saying he's a cat.
He is incredibly grumpy. But the thing is, he is a deer. He is an incredibly sweet cat when you get to know him. But when you see him, he just kind of looks a bit like Winford Brimley.
Well, that's because every single cat has read
Garbage.
Machiavelli's The Prince about 1 million times whilst you were sleeping.
Cats are a demonstration of pure power.
Yes, entirely.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, they are.
Garbage.
Cammy.
Winford Brimley cat.
I'm thinking it's just because Cammy is still a kitten, and so I'm still in the lovely kitten phase where everything is an adventure.
Maine Coons do have a very good temperament for cats.
Oh, they do.
They're a lot more chill than most cats are.
Yeah, they're known as being one of the friendliest breeds of cats. And
yes,
yeah, and another good thing is the cats that Stephen, my boyfriend, rescued a couple of weeks ago. He's called Winston. Winston is actually a type of cat called a ragamuffin, which is yes,
adorable.
They're very. I'm just going to get a picture up of Winnie. So Stephen took a really good photo of him the other day, or to say the other day is yesterday. So there's Winston.
No.
There he is. It's basically Winston was found in a storm. He had his back leg injured. He's been missing bits of fur over his body because he's just been neglected. He's rescued, and now he's I think he looks absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I put cats when I was linking the stream because I knew we'd be talking about cats.
And it's the one possibly non-fallacious act of determinism.
Yes, we're talking about cats and steels.
This is like the wholesome sandwich part of the stream. So you start it on something really cutesy and lighthearted, and then you get into children being considered terrorists, and and Marxism, and all of this kind of dark.
They're demons.
I mean,
well,
to be
I'll
fair,
try-
I've known a few 5-year-olds that were basically terrorists. My niece definitely is.
all children are emotional terrorists.
Yeah,
Change
that's
my
why
mind.
Yeah.
you don't negotiate with.
You don't negotiate. I
You
don't
do not
negotiate
know.
children.
Absolute terrors.
Portrait seal. Who wants to hear about what I found on my cat today? A tick on his bum.
Oh, what a wonderful story.
So
Ooh.
as
A
opposed to
buttock.
Right,
buttock.
thanks for that. Thanks for that, Portrait Seal. Great contribution there, my friend. So yeah, I think we should get because we're sticking on the topic of cute animals. There are some other cute animals that I can introduce you all to. Do you know who they are?
Are they the seals of the week? Are they the new seals of the week?
Well, they're the classic seals of
Oh,
news
the
coming for an encore.
Oh.
They're here for an
Is this
encore.
like when Coca-Cola gets rid of the original and then brings it like Coke Life?
New
so
Seal.
We had like Seal Life and now we're back to Seal Classic.
Oh god, Coke Life. I remember that
Oh my
shit.
god, Coke Life was actually disgusting.
Natural flavors.
Yeah.
It
Natural
was
Seal.
weird. And the thing was, like, it just, I don't even kind of remember it actually being phased out. It just seemed to, like, it was
It just
there for like a month.
Died.
It was there for a month, and they would sell it on special offer, and that was it. Like, it was pretty rank. Like at least like, I've seen like the special flavors from Pepsi. Like, you get cinnamon flavor around Christmas. Like that lasted longer, and that
Yeah, it
wasn't
did.
that great.
The Coke Light, it was supposed to be like this whole health thing of like a naturally sweetened Coke. They were trying to say it was plant extracts.
Even more Sorbitol.
Yeah, it's all like xylitol. If you drink enough of it, you will shit your whole digestive system out.
I shit your entire intestine through the eye of a needle.
Sweeteners are not good for you guys.
Original Coke was all natural, but they, for some reason, took that off the market a long, long time ago.
That's because it had a certain type of leaves in it.
Yeah,
the original.
One of the things I really dislike about Coca-Cola is they have all these different like variations, but pretty much all of it is just like with sugar, without sugar, with a different kind of sweetener, with another different kind of sweetener, with caffeine, without caffeine. Like there aren't as many flavors. Like
All about the citrus zest or whatever it was called, citrus twist.
Yeah, there was like twist of lime. I don't know. I miss like the fully sugared Coke, but like
Yes.
proper like vanilla Coke and
yeah,
dairy
because
Coke. We don't get any more.
no, because like vanilla Coke Zero is just not the same.
It's not the same, guys.
It's really, really not the same. But
they
meanwhile,
do,
in America they've got all of this stuff. But in the UK, if you want a decent, you get your basic bog standard Coke, and then everything else is diet variations. And I've gone off Diet Coke. Like I much prefer Diet Pepsi.
Thank
Like,
you,
I'll-
Sugar
I'll-
Tax. Very cool. What about
Yeah.
Pepsi Max?
Nah,
Nah.
what we're just drinking copious quantities of tea.
I can actually do with a cup of tea now. You said that.
We've got giant cups of tea here. That's how we exist.
The Teaverse.
Yeah, that's where all our zeal against like the communism comes from. It's fueled by tea.
Feeling the revolution.
I'm sure the seals of news would love to be having a cup of tea right about now. Oh, they would love nothing more than to just sit back with like a nice cuppa and think of the empire. But alas, these seals, they have brought us news, and they're bouncing, they're galumphing around, trying to get your attention because they've got stories to talk about.
I do love that galump is an actual word with that meaning.
I love the word galumph. For those who don't know, galumphing is kind of like very clumsily plodding along.
Is it an actually real word now? Because I remember
Yes, it
it from what was it, the Jabberwock? It was. I think it was.
It is very Jabberwock.
Lumping Jabberwock.
Yeah.
Galumph is a real word, and that is what
Awesome.
you would use to describe a seal's bounce on land. Because but having said that, like I love the sound of the word, but it is a little bit insulting because it's like it's not very elegant. And it's some of it
seals on
can
land.
be elegant.
Let's be fair.
There's a traditional sort of aspect of old, almost onomatopoeic language that exists within Galumph.
Yeah,
It
I
is.
mean that's it. That's
Mm.
that's the Lewis Carroll's Jabberwocky. It is
Is it people that are called
he struck
Snodgrass?
him dead, and with his head he went galumphing back. That was the line from it. But yeah, it's
Like a
very
seal.
onomatopoeic. Yes,
Like a
indeed.
So Trig, before you are 4 seals,
Aha.
Yes.
and each of these seals
You must
wants
choose
to be approved.
wisely.
I am going to go for child terrorists because I personally think, as I said
Child
always,
terrorists,
they are
yeah.
all terrorists. They are all terrorists. Adorable little
Hey,
terrorists
children are
sometimes, but
terrorists.
usually terrorists. Yes.
Right, so let me bring this up. So I think a lot of people who are watching us are probably aware of Prevent. If you live in the UK, at least if you don't, Prevent is they're considered like a counter-terrorism kind of scheme almost. Well, what they will do is they will find vulnerable people. They will usually, they'll do things like a home visit, take people aside, and just talk about their views and their beliefs, and we'll usually just be like, yeah, that's a pretty bad belief. Don't you need to be careful with that. So it's more like
that's bad.
yeah, but a lot of quite surprising people get reported to Prevent. I was just saying to the guys before. I think it was like a year or two ago. Someone I know was reported to Prevent. Now, this guy was someone I knew through the Liberalists when that embarrassment was a thing. Yes, I know.
No.
I know. I think I met so many people through the Liberalists that like, I can look down on it now and be like,
all
that
of them
was
terrorists. Or
I think Britain would be a different place if they were.
yeah, the liberalist, the liberalist
Revolutionary Guard.
Yeah.
There's this one guy who was a part of the Liberalists who was incredibly autistic. One of the most autistic people I have ever met in my life. Like we used to have like a Liberalist Discord server, and whenever we would have any kind of conversation about anything, he would interrupt us just to read out a news headline that he'd seen on the BBC, and then he would start like really strongly laying into the BBC for even reporting on that thing in the first place. Like my favorite interruption was we were just talking about something like video games, and then he just interrupts us like, guys, Birmingham 3, Reading 2. What? Why are they telling us this when Sadiq Khan is destroying London and they're reporting on football? And it's like, well, it's because you're looking at a fucking football page. That's the level of autism that guy had. But he was reported to Prevent. He was reported to them because of the kind of, like just the kind of pages that he would follow, really, or the fact that he would get onto like quite heated online arguments with people because he is incredibly autistic. So he would kind of, because of that.
Evelyn, DG just had to go now because the police are at the door.
Wait, what?
There's police here, yeah. Not even joking.
What?
Correctly. What?
Something about uni? I don't know.
Oh. Okay. It's not Prevent then. You're not going to be de-radicalized.
I don't think so.
Okay.
That's weird.
That is weird.
Is this an actual thing that's happening right now?
Yes, this is an actual thing that is happening right now. It might be because the university hasn't realized that they've dropped out and they're worried about them. I think that's might be what it is, but I have no idea what's going on here.
Oh, okay. Shall we continue to badmouth police practices whilst the police are downstairs? Let's do it. So anyway, yes. So anyway, this is a report on Sky News which is talking about how Prevent, which as I explained, they will regularly speak to people who who aren't really all mentally there, let's just say, but they usually will treat like any of these people just as kind of like a potential terrorist. And according to a report, teenagers and children as young as 6 have been assessed at vulnerability support hubs, which are part of their program. So this shouldn't really be a surprise to anyone who has seen the way that Prevent operates. I mean, people are referred there for some of the weakest reasons. I believe there was a teacher at a Catholic school a couple of weeks ago who was referred to it's kind of like counter-terrorists because he'd voiced an opinion that was anti-LGBT. So does they've always been relatively like quite trigger happy, but the idea that they're targeting 6-year-olds, this should hopefully wake people up that this is. I don't think that Prevent really kind of works in the way that they want it to.
It's I mean it's moderately horrifying, isn't it? On the face of it. That's it. I'm going to play devil's advocate ever so quickly because we have seen certain religious groups use very young children, certainly in the Middle East, for terrorist action.
Yes.
And the last thing you want is a 6-year-old wandering into a school and exploding. So,
yes.
And if that can be avoided, great. But at the same time, good God, this is some seriously big brothery type sort of tier stuff.
It says a lot about our society, or a lot about our culture or country rather. If there could still be a chance of a 6-year-old being radicalized into something like Islamic extremism.
This says a lot about our society. Yes,
it does. Yes. I mean, it's it's wildly horrifying to think that this is how far we're plummeting.
Possibly, but like I said, the thing is, we don't know the context because of how opaque a lot of these things are.
I know, and I see there it's sort of the white ring extremism is UK's fastest growing threat. I see left wing extremists all over the streets, all over the place, tearing down statues, etc. I mean, is it just the case that there's two right wing extremists and they made 2 extra friends, and therefore they've had a 100% increase in right wing extremism? As opposed to 25 extra jihadis and against the thousands, and that's only a 2%. So therefore it's growing slower. Is it that kind of nonsense we're seeing there?
Yeah, I mean it'd be difficult to say. Like I'm just going to bring that link up on here. Let me see exactly what they're saying about this. Here we go. Let me just bear with me, so we'll get back onto that one in the meantime. Is everything good where you are, Scrumb?
I have no idea.
Okay, so what they're saying here is 17 children, some as young as 14, were arrested on terrorism charges in the past 18 months. Over the same time period, more than 1,500 children under the age of 15 were referred to Prevent counter-radicalization program. We are seeing more young people being drawn towards terrorist activity. They're saying, so what kind of terrorist activity in particular? I mean, they've said hateful ideology online, but both the far left and the far right operate in hatred. So that's not very clear. If it's religious based, that's not very clear either. 2% of referrals to Prevent came from family. Which is unacceptably low because more families should be dobbing you into the police.
Although I hate that. I hate the idea of you have to watch out for your kids handing their parents in at school.
Yeah,
that's so Orwellian and nightmarish. It's untrue.
So here we go. Mr. Basu has warned that the threat from far-right extremism is growing, adding that 10 out of the 12 under 18s who were arrested for terrorism last year were linked to extreme right-wing ideology. There's definitely been a growth in nationalistic material online, white supremacist literature, things that are extremely disturbing. Okay, so what they're saying is basically like nearly all but 2 of the under 18s who were arrested for terrorism last year were extreme right-wing.
Because the other thing is, I've seen Islam described, and it quite rightly described, as a far right ideology. Because let's face it, it really is.
Yeah, which would line up with it, and so it's kind of difficult to if there's it's why just saying having a phrase like far right it's not particularly helpful. It's because you don't what exactly is it that's causing this? Who are these people that who are they listening to? What actions are they wanting to take? Who is the action against? Why? There's a lot of different questions. If you just say extreme right wing, I mean, like the way the Overton window has shifted over the last couple of years, you see even Tory supporters being labelled that. I mean, the amount of times you hear about how we have the most extreme right wing government of all time under Boris Johnson of all people.
It catches so many, doesn't it? I mean, I could be considered far right because I am quite libertarian. I don't like taxes. I wouldn't hurt a fly. I am a really gentle soul on the whole. But am I far right? I don't know. Because I think government should be smaller and we should have more chilled out laws. Is that far right, or is the Islamic imam who's saying throw gay people off a rooftop and women should be dressed all in black and stay in the house? Is that far right? I don't know what far right is anymore. Nobody does, and that's the point.
Yeah, it's almost meaningless, really. Yeah. I mean, unless you're adding more of a context behind it. I mean, hell, even if you were to flip it and just say, oh, there's more people on the far left who are being referred to. Again, like the left is quite a big it's quite a big umbrella. Would you be talking about tankies? Would you be talking about a blue hair progressive that's just got a little bit too angry on their keyboard? Those two people aren't exactly the same ideologically. They're very. There's a lot that differentiates them, and so whereas if you're talking about like a religious extremism, then that's a bit easier because at least you kind of know what the central tenet is behind it. But if you're just saying left wing or right wing,
it's a useless catch-all. It used to be, back in the 80s, far left-wing extremism was all over the place. You got all manner of communist revolutionaries everywhere, and that was the one that they used to scare people with. These days, it's right-wing. It's
and the thing is,
this is the net.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's going to shift. It's going to because these things always do. Like you said, in the 70s and the 80s, that the big problem was from almost like union. Yeah, well, union activists, or those are the kinds of people who, they I remember watching. Because I know I mentioned Freds quite a lot, but one of the things that happens in Freds before the nuclear bombs go off is they arrest kind of subversives, and almost all of them are trade unionists because they were the people who were radical at the time, or they were the ones who at least the focus on radicalism was on. And so that's why that happens. I mean, the thing was kind of written by I think he is pretty much a lefty, but I don't think he was putting it in there because look at how the left are being attacked. It's more like that's what would have happened at the time. There's no chance there would have been people on the right because the radicals on that side were minuscule in comparison. But these things, or at least what we know of. But again, these things will always change. Sooner or later, the radical far left is going to push their luck a bit too much, and then they'll become the public enemy as opposed to the far right.
I'm amazed they haven't done, considering what we've seen in the last couple of years. Considering the black bloc smashing up cities, burning down cities last year, tearing down statues, etc.
But it had a use. But it had a use. That's the thing. All of that had a use. There's no point even kind of looking at it as if it was the right that was acting in such a way. The pitchforks would have been out. It's no, at the time their biggest priority was getting Trump out.
Yes.
And so they could just frame this as look how angry the people are at Trump, at what Trump has caused. This is Trump's riots, as Joe Biden said. And so there was, it proved its use. I think the next couple of years is going to be quite fascinating under Biden, and then under Harris, because Harris, at some point in the next 4 years, Kamala Harris is going to become president, and it's just going to be interesting to see when the left eventually loses their usefulness. I know like Duncan Scumper are kind of busy at the moment. But
I'm avoiding the whole.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But I wanted to kind of touch on something that Dunk said on Twitter, actually, when they were talking about how you have these kind of the far left reactionary kind of anti-far left SJW YouTube channels that will just always put up a video, be like, look at how insane the far left is being, and Joe Biden takes his marching orders from Foch. Those kinds of things, and it actually, the post actually did kind of get me thinking a lot. It's it should be obvious that you don't have the most powerful people in the world listening to.
No, that
a guy who thinks that. I mean, well, okay, maybe that's a link that he might have with them, but.
I honestly doubt Joe Biden even knows what YouTube is.
Who's that?
It's just TV as far as he's concerned, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think, but it's more important to actually talk about the kind of the issues that are surrounding us. I mean, it's one reason why I have been kind of considering the kind of content that I've been doing over the last couple of weeks, and that post from Dunk is one of the things that's made me think I don't want to just do kind of go back to something like Trans Stupid, where every week it's a new stupid thing has happened, because all of those stupid things are always going to happen. But it's more important to talk about why it's happening, which I always tried to do in the videos. But I would like to kind of do it in a bit more in depth and a lot less
sorry,
this is stupid.
Indisposed, but
oh yes,
bad.
No, you keep your ear open, dude. Let us know.
I'm staying up here.
Rose, I'm totally with you though, because we've had for 5 or 6 years we've had look at blue haired person being crazy. Look at stuff that's been going off in university that's crazy. There's been an awful lot of pointing at someone and laughing, and no one's really. I mean, we've touched on why it's happened and how it's happened, but there's not really that much out there in the way of solutions, routes out, and alternatives to it.
Yes.
That's kind of why Scrump and I are doing what we're doing on our channel. Let's look at this. There was an awful lot of that content, and I'm 100% agreeing.
That's not to say that there isn't a place for point and laugh. But at the same time, it's kind of like junk food content. It's junk food to produce. It's junk food to consume. It's the easy stuff. It's the anyone can say. I mean, hell, I've got a fucking Demi Lovato story lined up here, and it's effectively the exact thing which I'm criticizing now.
Mm-hmm.
But I could at least I'm aiming to have a bit more of a dialogue around it, rather than blue hair has come out as trans. What a surprise! Because I think there is a bit more kind of interest in that. But
it's almost like, do you remember Jeremy Beadle and all of this? It is almost that type of tier of show, though, isn't it? Is look at someone doing something stupid. It's not quite look at grandma falling off the table while she's dancing at a wedding, which Beadle was famous for, but it's along the same lines. And, it's always fun. It is always fun to watch, but no.
Yeah, it's why a lot of the kind of the skeptic community, as it was called, kind of one of the things which kind of fell apart with it. I mean, you looked at Andy Warski's old videos before he started doing the every single.
Did you know feminism is bad?
every video, pretty much every video would start with him and that Chris guy, and it'd always be or something like that. Hands in their head in their hands and shaking their head, and that's the way every single video would start. Mm-hmm. And then all they would do is they wouldn't actually kind of talk about why it was happening. It would just be a case of Francesca Ramsey like Franny has said something stupid.
Oh, there's a name I haven't heard
Franny's
in a
done
while.
a new video. Like, I hadn't heard of Francesca Ramsey in a very long time until someone put a tweet up saying, like, these are YouTubers which the internet needs to apologize for, and it was Francesco Ramsey, Riley Dennis, Milo Stewart, and somebody else.
Oh my god, it's like it's 2018 again.
Those
are real.
These are names I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah, getting very Obi-Wan there.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that name in years.
But all of that stuff, that's all it was. And like, one of the criticisms, I do get criticism on my channel where I'm told that, that's effectively what I do, is I just kind of point and laugh. But I always try and have like a dialogue around it. But what I was trying to get at is I can only kind of do that week in, week out for so long until I'm talking about the same thing over and over again. And so what I'm actually doing at the moment is planning a way of, like, granted, there'll probably be less videos coming out, and there probably won't be massive, like, there won't be kind of the things that will go into trending, put it like that. Yeah. But it's more just kind of talking around the situations, like with a lot of trans activism, because I just think that is the way to be more helpful. Like, there's stories that I could have jumped on months ago, but I haven't, because it's actually easier kind of looking at it. Well, it's not easier. It just makes a better content to actually look at it a few months later outside of that heat and actually kind of analyze it and compare it with other things. And it gives you more of a time to research it. And I know that this has actually come quite a big tangent from what we were talking about originally with with Prevent. I know. I am quite sleep deprived, so if I've been rambling,
no, it's fine. Thank you for filling the time.
Blame Cammy because you woke me up very early this morning.
Is Evelyn being dragged off in
I don't
chains?
know what's going on.
This is kind of weird. It's not connected to the milkman incident, is it?
I don't know.
What's the milkman incident?
We haven't run out of milk. Oh god, do I have to explain the milkman on air now?
You know what? I actually subscribed to their service the other day. I have milk in bottles being delivered by milkmen on a float now.
Okay, so what happened was a couple of months ago we had someone about 7:30 at night come to the door and say, well, first of all, I opened the door and there's someone stood there. They're in like a cap. They're not in like a milkman's hat.
A flat cap?
No. Like a baseball cap. That has milk on it in great big letters.
Okay, that is pretty boss.
What? So what about the police?
Yeah.
Yeah. What happened?
Okay. Right. Okay. We need to find out what happened to the police.
Oh yeah, but I was actually halfway to explain the milkman story.
All right.
No.
Not to just hijack wherever the stream has been, but I've just had a policeman at the door asking for me to explain my tweets.
What?
Yes, a policeman has just chapped the door and told me essentially to explain why I thought it was all right to tweet, "Let's go bomb towel heads."
Well, that's a joke from our stream.
I come up with.
Well, the joke was that the joke was that it was
sorry. If anyone from Greater Manchester, please, or Police Scotland is watching this, I am quoting my own tweet because the policeman said it 4 or 5 times as well.
Well, are they charging you anything?
This is a massive coincidence. We're talking about counter-terrorism stuff.
What would they charge?
And you get visited by the police for something you said online.
Yes, unironically, yes. Police. Well, I don't know if I'd sent it to you before, but my uni, on a number of occasions, had to directly felt the need to directly contact me because my tweets were supposedly offensive and this, that, and the next thing.
So the uni did pass it on, then?
Yes, the uni has passed it on to Police Scotland.
Oh.
But because you didn't answer them, or didn't answer them to their satisfaction?
Yes, I think so.
So what's the outcome been?
I don't know. This dude's going to go off and send the information I just gave him to Police Scotland, and then if he hears back and they aren't satisfied by that, then there is a possibility Greater Manchester Police might pursue it as a hate crime. Because when I talked to the dude on the door, the first thing I asked was, do I need to give any details? And he said, you can try not to, but we'll have to arrest you.
Wow.
Oof.
Wow. Okay. So,
It's freedom of speech in the UK, ladies and gentlemen.
It is. So what was just to kind of clarify to everyone? So what was the context of this?
Well, it was Scrump and Trig were doing the sort of forever war stuff. And I think, is it you that said that, the B in LGBT stands for bomb?
Well,
and I thought, why not go whole hog and just say, let's go bomb tower heads?
The concept of the joke is that basically it was that the Biden administration is just dropping the same bombs with rainbows painted on them.
In the name of gay rights.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's literally what I said to the police at the door.
The Biden administration, under the comment we made in the stream was, under the Biden administration, LGBT might as well stand for let's go bomb towelheads, because that's what they're doing, and they're doing it in the name of LGBT. And that's the satire there. That's the joke. It's LGBT.
Yeah.
But it's
this
it's
is
Biden,
really concerning though, because
it's Biden's rainbow bombs.
Yeah,
let's
go.
That's the bit.
Blow third worlders.
That's the political satire.
Gay rights.
It's insane. It's absolutely. But oh my god, like. What am I trying to even say? I'm kind of speechless.
You're telling me we just had
I know,
Jess walk into the room that me and Scrump are sitting in, and sort of quietly explain that the police are at the door and they are looking for you.
My God!
It's like the problem was though, it could have been either of us. That's why.
See, here's how you know I'm more based than you. Though I get in trouble with the police before you did over tweets, and I don't even.
I'm gonna say I'm just better at hiding my.
No, you're just not.
Why
that
we
based.
use VPNs, okay?
I have outspiced the Starman.
Oh,
wow! God damn it! And the thing is,
they're trying to charge that as a hate crime.
Oh no! Well, the guy is going to talk to, or he's going to send the details he took to Police Scotland.
Yeah.
And if Police Scotland aren't satisfied with that, there is a likelihood that they might ask him then to do either a full interview or to treat it as a hate crime. Now, he said that if it's a full interview, because that's the first thing I asked him was, do you not think you have better things to do with your time?
Yeah.
Which he basically agreed with.
Yeah.
He said the fact that he would be willing to essentially quash the thing because it's not his fucking business really at the end of the day. However, if it goes to hate crime levels, he actually doesn't have the opportunity to do that, because that goes higher up and it's a serious offence. There would then at some point be like an opportunity, or like 3-4 officers at the door basically taking me fucking to GMP headquarters to ask me why I thought it was all right to tweet something.
That's and the thing is, after everything which happens with Dank, we know that
the police just came. I was like, I don't know, it's something to do with uni. And I'm just like, I'll
probably get a message off. I'm going to go check my phone at some point.
Yeah, you might need to. Sorry, breaking news here, guys.
I'm going to go check my phone. I'll be back in a moment.
Please do, yeah.
Oh my God. I cannot believe the timing of this. And it's... Yeah, and the thing is, if this... if that was actually kind of being tried as a hate crime, would that be tried in Scotland, do you think?
Probably yes. Well, it wouldn't know, but the thing is, it's an offence that has been apparently.
I sent it from here. It's a GMP issue.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I think I'll hold it. Uses a nigger from you.
Oh right, okay, but that's different. It's a case of the fact, apparently Police Scotland have had it reported to them, but it's a weird one because of how English and Scottish law work.
So that makes sense. So hold on. So it didn't take place in Scotland. It took place in
Scotland.
So why would Police Scotland have any kind of jurisdiction then if the crime
they don't
the quote unquote crime?
They referred it to Greater Manchester Police.
Oh right, okay. So it's Greater Manchester. Okay, so it's...
But the problem is that Greater Manchester, the Scottish police can technically ask for it to be charged as a hate crime in England, and then it will have to be investigated as that.
That's stupid. That's really stupid. Why are they having any say in this? Because it was reported.
Because it was reported to them, yes.
That really makes no sense.
Well, that's the way things are at the moment, I'm afraid.
So they would be. So if Greater Manchester Police has thought like, we're not really going to do anything.
Yeah. Put the thing back on.
No, so the reason why it's gone through Police Scotland is the complaint was originally done through my uni.
Right. So how long ago did they do that?
Well, let's put it this way. That's not the first one I had. They have decided to, because I didn't respond to this one in an appropriate manner, they felt that there was a need to obviously send that off to Police Scotland. And then obviously I've recently changed the dress. So they have then taken the time to send the request off to Greater Manchester Police to deal with it.
Just to quickly interrupt this, just for a quick super chat. Comic Nut 64 to $5. Racist and far right are the new duty head here in the States, and hashtag free Scrump, which considering the developments that we've had over the last 10-15 minutes, is Scrump the one that needs to be freed?
You think of them yet?
I haven't.
The one that needs
Just
to be
DM me or something about it.
I don't know. We need to start dumping tea into the Mersey or something.
We do. Well, apparently, yes. That's wild. I don't think they'd actually report it, and I don't think they'd actually send anyone over for that kind of stuff.
I know.
Apparently, that is the environment right now.
How are you feeling about it? Are you feeling all right?
I mean, I don't really care at the end of the day. I mean, I don't know. There is, even though it is entirely likely from this point forward that I could actually be arrested for putting it up on Twitter, I just feel that it's so ridiculous that it shouldn't happen. And I mean, are they really actually going to come and knock the door and take me away in cuffs for using the phrase I did on Twitter? I mean, is that actually going to happen?
Yeah.
And if it does, every single one of these better be out in the street.
Yeah, I will. And look, Britain.
Oh yeah.
Britons never will be slaves. Terms and conditions apply.
Yes,
that's €5.
No, at least
thank you, Hollow 1916.
The only silver lining from this, as I said, is that this officially makes me more spicy than the Starman.
Yeah, well, maybe he's better at hiding his trucks.
Yeah, but better at covering up.
Nah, you just don't make people annoyed enough. I'm sorry.
I sent that before I needed full details. Yeah, that was sent a while ago. Sorry, it's just because it's been a while since I'd actually checked
short
the
stream today.
Short
uneventful stream.
Yeah, I'm really sorry.
I know that's actually yeah. So just before this, is if this stream is just an hour long, it's just a quiet one, and we're barely even really kind of scratched the first story, and already someone's being threatened with arrest.
Yeah, apologies for just sidelining the whole thing, but I think it's somewhat worth it because this is just next level keks, to be honest.
Oh god damn it! So so yeah, counter-terrorism. Jesus Christ!
Is this article now about me then?
Kind of. It wasn't an intervention, like a counter-terrorism intervention, though.
It was close.
It's about as close as we're going to get on air during a segment on it.
I should have taken my phone down with me and just done the police interview on air. That
would actually, that would have been quite interesting.
I was quite tempted to grab my phone and film it, but it did seem quite sound. He wasn't really. I don't think he's the sort of individual that wants to be doing this stuff.
No.
Yeah. So as soon as you explain the context to him, did he kind of
I think it was on such a level of silly comments that you only really get if you're somebody on Twitter that posts edgy stuff, that I don't think he quite fully understood it. But the whole notion of going to someone's door at 8:30 on a Wednesday night for a tweet seemed quite silly,
especially one that was not directed at anybody.
Yes.
And did not mention a specific person.
And has also been deleted.
Yes, and has also been deleted, and does not even mention a specific ethnicity. And it doesn't. It's.
I know. I could have been talking about white women coming out of the shower or something.
Yes. But yes, I would agree with that statement as well. But due to their crimes against canines, but
don't trust the peanut bros. God.
Anyway, what's that? Seals of news.
The seals of news. Let's get some wholesome
Since you've been
seals.
arrested, I think you can pick. Well, since you've been arrested, I think you can pick the latest one.
Yeah, it's not how I'd like to see myself in handcuffs, to be honest. Can we have crypto, please? Because this has been one of my favorite things to rant about as of late.
Yes.
All right. So this is your treat. Crypto. So what's happened with crypto?
It's basically all bombed as it was destined to, really, because it's all just a big bubble. And really, at the end of the day, it's just a fancy pyramid scheme. And the whole, I mean, I've gone to the lengths of writing quite a reasonably long form article on the subject. And the long and the short of it is, to me, that, you know, crypto was never going to go anywhere and was just, in a certain sort of Machiavellian sense, a way to burn up a lot of the inflation that we would otherwise actually have.
Well, it's also a way to get people to like invest in something that they think is going to change the world, but won't. But the surface level
activism.
Yeah, the surface level story here is that crypto is in massive flux and on a big downward slope at the moment because China has said that its financial institutions can't deal with transactions in crypto. So China hasn't banned crypto. It hasn't banned people buying or owning crypto, but it has banned a lot of
It's banned companies from using it.
Yeah, it's banned companies from using non-state sanctioned crypto, which is another tendril to the story in that this is really China warming up to bring in a quote-unquote state crypto like Venezuela tried to.
Well, that's I think that's the way it'll be framed here, though. At some point, you will essentially get what is a HMRC PAYE friendly crypto.
Yes.
And at that point, you might as well just be cutting about with like digital fun pounds.
Yeah,
like we already are, really.
Oh, I mean, the game is far from over though with crypto. I will say that it will go up, it will go down, it will go up, it will go down before it's over.
The thing is, it's been going down quite consistently for the last week or so, and I think the article I saw suggested that even in some of the like top 7 or 8 cryptos or something that is over like $1 trillion has basically just
disappeared. Yes.
And this isn't like the government loses $1 trillion that never existed kind of thing. This is like people's actual money.
There's a big problem as well in that it was a smaller story, but the whole thing about Elon Musk and Tesla no longer accepting Bitcoin.
That's such a minor point to it. I mean, it started bombing before Elon actually opened his gub.
It's an indicator, but even a lot of like crypto as a medium of exchange doesn't work in the real world. There's nothing you can really buy, that isn't like a kilogram of black tar heroin with Bitcoin. There's, you can't go down to your local car dealership and buy a Tesla anymore with Bitcoin. No, even then, it was a novelty to do so.
Well,
I think I don't know. On you go, Trig.
I was going to say because I know that there was going to be the Ghost crypto credit card system that John McAfee was bringing out, and that was going to be a fully working debit card. That you
Isn't John McAfee currently in a Spanish prison?
He is currently in a Spanish prison. Yeah,
from where he is.
Yeah,
because he's probably signed a contract with the Glows.
Yeah, possibly.
If you were someone who was bordering on the domestic and also international terrorism, would you have a verified account on Twitter?
No.
Unless you were like, I don't know, like who's the
of course
or something like that.
He's got so much relationship with the Glowies and all of that lot because he wrote their security systems for them back in the early 90s. That's why he's been on the run for a large amount of time. It was because he'd written them and had access to, if not actual data.
Yeah, well, we'll never know about his extent
pertaining to
how
things.
Much he's blackmailing people and how much he's actually just compromised. But that's a side point.
Yeah, no, I think there's as I said, I wrote a sort of long form piece about the whole subject.
Sure.
Don't have the link handy, I'm afraid. I'm sure someone else does.
Sure.
One of the sort of point I was trying to make is there is a whole sort of carrot and stick sort of thing going on whereby people are enticed of the carrot of stonks and they're really just battered with a stick of essentially, accepting and furthering what is the framework for a social credit score.
Should work.
I can't see any other way whereby
Link in the chat.
all the attributes that comes with, each of these different crypto coins and the data they hold on to and this, that, and the next thing, that isn't used just to hold your personal data. And I don't know how familiar people are with the HMGov's framework for attributes and digital identities. It almost perfectly describes the sort of formulated network of data that would be verified and checked, and that you would essentially be arrested for if you didn't verify correctly at every point that you were requested it from either a private or a public corporation. It just seems so obvious to me, at least.
This is the hilarious thing about buying yourself a kilo of black tar heroin with crypto, is that so many people know exactly who has bought what from where, and because of the blockchain. It's hilarious.
Yes, and if you've used certain coins and you've added a PGP location or message to the crypto transaction, on that will be things like your name, your address, what you have bought, who you bought it from.
Yeah, the big problem is that crypto it's exactly what the crypto enthusiasts say it isn't. It is essentially a security that is being speculated on in large amounts. And the kind of the foam from a lot of people putting their, in quotes, stimmies into crypto because they all thought they were going to become Dogecoin.
They should have all bought planks of 2x4 and paper pulp if they were real geniuses.
Yeah, the price would have gone up massively. But this might just be some foam coming out of the market. I don't know if this is the final pop yet. But the problem is going to come that at some point, a major crypto is going to hit zero. Like all the value is just going to leave it because people don't believe that the coin is worth anything, and cryptocurrency as a currency is not particularly useful yet, and that's supposed to be the liberating part of it. That's supposed to be crypto fixes this.
And I've actually when I lived in Camden, I actually saw more places that accepted Dogecoin than I did Bitcoin, and this was a couple of years ago now. But I remember there were two kind of burger places. I think there was one. There was a very specific burger place. I think mainly they gave it a name like Bitburger or something. Where you could use Bitcoin and Dogecoin. But then there was another one that was specifically just for Dogecoin, and they wouldn't accept Bitcoin.
They aren't taking Dogecoin. A company is taking Dogecoin on their behalf, charging a transaction fee, then charging them another transaction fee. It's like a sort of proprietary network thing. It's not even close to actually transacting someone in crypto. Go buy a house for £100,000 worth of XRP.
Yeah, that's the point. Can you pay your mortgage in Bitcoin yet?
No,
you can't.
But you can pay it in big bloody bags of silver if you want.
Metals is definitely the way forward.
Well, the big point about crypto is you have to convert it into fiat currency for it to be useful. Therefore, you never actually free yourself from the financial system, as a lot of the kind of evangelists of Bitcoin say you will. And it's another lesson in what goes up must come down. It's a speculation bubble, pure and simple. And people can't. There is no way you can't recognize that if you have a brain. I think a lot of people are just scared of missing the next Bitcoin, so they'll put their £1,000 or $1,000 stimulus check into something like XRP or into something like Ethereum in the hopes of becoming And a lot of these people are thinking that they made a lot of money, but they've not until they cash it out. And they can't. A lot of the time they can't cash it out because when large waves of people try and cash out crypto, it doesn't just block up the trading platforms that they use. It blocks up the transaction chain. It blocks up the blockchain, which means that it can take days for your transaction to come through. And by that time, the coin could be completely worthless anyways. I don't think a lot of people have actually dealt properly with the crypto. They might have bought some off a platform and thought it was instant.
Well, there's also the side issue of the fact that most trading platforms will actually not give you the rights to the crypto that you quote unquote own.
Yeah.
They only
No.
give you a contract that says you own it within these circumstances, and if it goes moon numbers, we might tell you can't sell it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is a hold on sell for a lot of cryptos with a lot of trading platforms. You don't actually have the physical coin in your wallet.
No.
You don't have the the string or the actual information for it. You basically, they will hold an amount, or they will hold an amount of money, and then they will attach it to the value of Bitcoin. You don't actually own any Bitcoin. Very few people actually own Bitcoin.
Yes, the people that actually own Bitcoin are the people selling it / renting it to the trading platforms.
Yes, and those people are generally people who mined it 5 or 6 years ago.
Or are people like JP Morgan.
Yes, or they have like digital vaults full of it. Weirdly enough, it's I don't know. What's your opinion on crypto, Ro? Do you own any crypto?
No, I don't. I had considered it a couple of years ago, but I'm gonna be completely honest. I didn't understand a lot about what the point was.
Well,
I mean,
the point was supposed to be privacy, but it's all just a crock of shit, really. At the end of the day,
no, because you have all these different trading platforms, which I don't.
Oh,
Ooh.
I think Rose just disappeared.
Big
Damn.
F.
Oh no, they got her too.
Oh my god.
Anyway, the milkman. Finish that story from like half an hour ago.
I'm back.
Sorry.
I'm back.
Oh,
Weird.
I have
the
no
milk-
idea what happened then. That was
The
weird.
milkman will be a running meme. I'll explain it in full at some other point.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. So, no, sorry about that. No idea what happened. Anyway,
Yes.
so yeah, so I had no real idea of what I would kind of do with it, because, like you said, there isn't anywhere that was really accepting it. And bear in mind, when I was thinking about it, this was like about 2014. And I remember, like, in CEX, they would have like machines set up where you could, get Bitcoin paid out.
Fucking.
And it just made no sense to me. And as time has gone on, I would have at least expected it to get to a point where, okay, there's this new currency, go out and actually start using it. But that's never happened. And so I just don't actually see what the point is. If all you're doing is putting money into something just so it grows, but there is actually no other benefit associated with what you're investing in, except for it growing.
Econ artist hat on for a quick second. The real point is that what sort of production processes, or what mad large scale goods market that is on multiple levels of production that all involve different amounts of intensive industry and labor, and i.e. the economic production of goods. What does that have to do with crypto at all? Or what does crypto have to do with that more sort of better framed?
Yeah, it's even more removed from it than like stocks and shares are.
Yes.
At least if you're buying a stock, you're buying in theory, you're buying a piece of a company that makes something.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know what you're doing.
Over CDO.
Yeah, but
I mean, like if you were to invest stock in like Disney or something, at least Disney is, it is a company. You know what they produce. If you were to invest in like a mineral, or if we kind of take the trading places route and invest in frozen orange juice, like that these are like actual real world tangible items, or at least there is something in the real world where you can actually see, right, that's where the money is going to, and that feels a lot more secure than something which you put your money in and that's it, which to me is, I don't trade. I do not know how to read markets. I'm not going to pretend. I didn't join in.
Yeah, no one does really.
Yeah, I didn't join in with like the Dogecoin rush or anything like that, because I just do not know what I'm doing, and so I just didn't see the point. And but it's kind of interesting to watch when shit hits the fan. This for me is when actual kind of stocks and trading gets interesting, when things drop.
It's a bit of a sort of fugazi or a facade, or however you want to describe it, because a lot of when the GME stuff was happening, there was a subset of very clever people who understand that there is the exact same situation, and not GameStop, stocks, i.e. something that is intangible or infungible. there was the exact same situation in silver. The physical quantity of silver that exists is smaller than the shorts that exist for silver, which essentially means that if, let's say half of the money that went into GME went into silver, we'd already be hanging Jamie Dimon and people like that.
That there would already be an economic readjustment, let's say, or
Yes.
there already be a market collapse. There are kind of avenues of economic activism people can engage in, and crypto is not one of them. It really doesn't do. A lot of people have a very, like I said, almost religious view of crypto and its ability to free people from the boundaries of the economic system. I mean, I was doing I saw an article the day that basically said that crypto solved the Kantian effect because
because it doesn't exist in a physical space or something.
Well, because governments can't print it, guys. That's why it's
only people with computers can print it.
The big problem with crypto is that some people have just enough economic knowledge to be dangerous. They think they know what they're talking about, and they think that something like crypto, because it isn't technically centrally managed, there's no central bank for crypto, they think that they are outside of the system. But all they are really doing is putting money into a speculation bubble.
Instead of a void.
It's you might as well be buying and selling Pokemon cards.
No, because at least there's something real. I mean, like when it really hits the fan, you could burn the Pokemon cards and get some heat.
Okay, you might as well be buying like online items from an MMO or something.
Yeah, well, the thing is, even there is something you can stick on a USB drive, and it's actually like a unique thing.
And you're using it in the game as well, whereas you're not really using the Bitcoin; it just sits there. You don't play as the Bitcoin. You don't have a loadout with you change over to a Doge coin to get Victory Royale or anything like that.
Or maybe
you literally just sit there and look at it. You look at it and it goes up, and you're like, "Oh wow!" And that's it. That's all it does.
Well, no, I think maybe Trig has a bit more grasp on this than I do. But as far as I was aware, when Bitcoin started to come onto the scene, part of the argument was that each bit of Bitcoin technically has its own unique SHA-256 encryption code, and you could use that as a PGP key and all this kind of thing. But as we previously discussed, once you realize that you can reverse engineer the process, then the police goes up and locks everyone that's bought this, that, and the next thing off certain parts of the internet.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking. I've told this story many times before. I was looking at cryptos back in 2008. I was looking at buying 100 quid's worth of Bitcoin back in 2008 when it was worth 0.2 of a penny per coin. And I didn't. I went out and got pissed instead, and it's now 40 grand per coin. I don't care. I hold some XRP, I hold some Doge, I hold a couple. And by and large, I've actually made a fair amount of cash from crypto. Not huge amounts, but certainly.
Saying you made money on crypto is like the boomers saying they made money on their house prior to 2008. It's like, big fucking whoop-de-doo, so did everyone.
Yeah, I know. It is not. But yeah, as you rightly said, it's not the, I can go and buy whatever I like and it's, completely traceless and an invisible form of currency. Never fell for that. It was obvious the way the Bitcoin is, the blockchain is worked out, that's a myth. And the amount of people that you see on Chan sites, etc., when they realize it, freaking out because they've just gone and bought, an eighth of weed with a Bitcoin or whatever it is. And now they think they're going to get arrested. They could do.
If you have parts of the ledger, you can reverse engineer a lot of the ledger stuff. That's the problem. And there was a guy who was relatively big in Bitcoin early on. I can't remember the guy's name, but he went around basically talking like a supervillain that he was going to try and reveal everyone's information.
Yes, well, that's part of the reason why the whole the original Silk Road got bust was that they just reverse engineered the transactions.
I mean, I don't see it as any real difference to the nonsense fiat currencies that we've got anyway. If a government can print unlimited amounts of cash whenever they want to, but I can't.
There is one key difference though, which is that, if I want to buy something off of you, I can just give you the paper and it costs what it costs. I don't need to give someone else 5%, 10%.
Yeah.
Also, someone actually has to physically come and take it off me.
We are rapidly heading into a cashless society, though. The amount of transactions that were done, certainly last year, that were done literally by bleeping a card next to a machine, which has exactly that. It has that transaction fee every single time.
Crypto is part of the same war in cash, though.
Yeah, yes. I know. Invest in brass, invest in copper, invest in lead, and I suppose gold and silver as well if you want to actually have a value.
Yeah, we can definitely invest in brass and lead.
Lithium.
And copper.
And rope.
and like I said, and 2x4s.
Yes. What was the other one? Oh, bags of gas.
Yeah, bags of gasoline. Yes. Sorry, Rose. We've just kind of talked here.
It's fine.
Did you know buses for a while were actually powered on bags of coal gas? They actually had big bags.
A bag of gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, no word of a lie. They actually ran buses on bags of gas about 100 years ago or so. But yeah,
buses on bags of gas. Can we hear about the milkman story now?
No. I'm just going to leave that as it's been too built up, and it's not. As good
is this not going to be like the
that's because
the fishing trip and
Milkman
Gavin and
story
Stacey?
The policeman coming to the door over mean tweets live on show.
Yeah.
That is actually going to go down as like a legendary seal of approval moment.
I was going to say that'll need to be clipped or something. Looking for you.
It's just that moment of okay, which one of us are they looking for? Oh dear.
So with that, let's bring back our good friends, the Seals of News. So British Knight with their £5. DG, when the boog starts, I will follow you into the gates of hell. I only ask on thing. Let me avenge Powell by ending the Rees-Moggs myself.
Rees-Mogg.
Yes, this is me slowly but surely constructing my Revolutionary Guard.
Oh dear. Please.
They are consisting of British Knight.
Thank you, BK, for your service within what's it?
Roblox.
Roblox, that's it.
No, it's RuneScape Classic. Old school RuneScape.
Yes, and
we're doing it in old school RuneScape.
Charity with the £4.99. Thanks, love. Everything is a black pill at the moment. Hard to not look at the news and want to pull my hair out. Haha. Hope everyone is doing okay. I think everyone's doing okay.
This is what the Joker pill is for.
Yeah, that's what they want. Transcend.
Yes, be so honk that when the police come to your door, you can do nothing but laugh.
I had to mute the stream occasionally because of the amount of laughter that was going on downstairs earlier.
I thought things were going on mute because you were getting questioned by the police as well.
No, I was not questioned. I just sat up here the whole time.
Imagine if the dude actually came here.
Yeah.
They actually came on to see us like, hello. What's all this then?
Hello. What's going on here then? Oh dear me. But shall we do the Pentagon?
We could do the Pentagon seal.
This one's very much in the same vein as the first one we did. But there's a little extra stuff to it, and there's a little bit of a rabbit hole that people might want to go down themselves about. What's it called? It's like Babel something or other.
Oh God, why is it called Babel?
It's called Babel Street.
But like Babylon.
Yeah, isn't like the Tower of Babel?
We're getting real third tempo Operation Blue Beam.
Yeah, we're getting very Blue Beam code here, but no, it's the actual story is that the Pentagon plans to monitor social media of military personnel for extremist content, and they're not doing it themselves because they legally can't. They're contracting an outside company to do it for them.
Oh, it's a private company, bro.
Yeah, it's a private company, bro. You can't, they can do what they. It's only First Amendment only protects you from the government, bro. It's like a worked example of why that logic is retarded. But
here Babel Street, a company that sells powerful surveillance tools, including social media monitoring software.
Yes. They're basically the sanctioned version of a couple of companies before that got in trouble because they were selling the data of woke activists to the Chicago police. But for some reason, Babel Street hasn't had the information fire hose taken off them, even though they contract to people like the Department of a whole bunch of alphabet agencies in U.S. departments, because they are, again, basically a wing of the state at this point. They're just there for plausible deniability. But yeah, they are a mass collection tool. There's probably information about us in their databases.
Oh, there's definitely information on me in some
yeah,
databases.
they mass scrape. Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh god, this is
the website.
This is
their website.
Strong city stuff.
Yeah.
This is like something out of Perfect Dark or something like
Yes.
that. Like, this is like kind of real, like 90s vision of like 2030.
Well, there's an article as well, which I will link to you.
Oh look, it's in Shanghai. It's in China. It's sending your data around China.
I'm trying to find it
How
here.
about
There's I think I linked it now. There's one. There's like our security industry one, which is I don't think it's this one, but it's not there. Basically, their own marketing materials in the security industry basically talks about them, identifying threats to your company. Even like it's like pre-crime. It's like Total Recall. It's like we can identify threats to your business and profits and PR before they happen.
You were about to have a racist thought.
Yeah, it is that tier in that they are.
It's like Minority Report.
It is, yeah.
And they predict your crimes.
Well, they openly say that they take in as much information as humanly possible and use it to build up. Say if you don't like Disney, say if you have damaging information on the Disney Corporation.
So you also had a lot of Minecraft-related materials.
Yeah. Say if you're a company dissident and you're talking on Facebook in a private group, what could happen is Facebook could flag that information and sell it on to someone like Babel Street, who then could go to, if Disney was one of their clients, and say, you have a dissident who is saying this on Facebook, and you might get fucking disappeared. Like, that is the tier we are at with this stuff. And that's what the US military are using to basically mass monitor all of the social media interactions of their troops. They're trying to find out who is a dissenter, because the US is now currently a massive green zone with a president that a large percent of their population doesn't believe is legitimate, and especially those in the military, because the military has a larger percentage of libertarian voters than Democrat voters in it. It does.
We only need 3%. Something.
Yeah, it actually does. No, they are the Democrats are the third party of military voting. And I think the Biden administration is extremely scared of that. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to clean house in almost like a Stalinist-esque purge.
Ooh, that's kind of based, though.
Not really, not when it's Biden. And they're trying to make sure that anyone who is in the military isn't saying or believing things that they don't like.
Maoist Bidenism.
Yeah, it is. It's Maoist Bidenism. It is. This is the lengths that the American state has to go to, not to get large ice housed. Not to have an overcorrection. Yeah, an overcorrection. I guess people say a lot of the news is blackpilling, but honestly, the length they're having to go to keep the lid on this is relatively whitepilling, to be honest. I keep telling people that.
I was going to say each item is a black pill, but taken all on their own, they become white.
Yeah, they do. It's, if you take them together,
just take another pill. OD on black pills.
Yeah, you transcend and become white pill. But it's interesting that both the US and the UK, the UK is monitoring the thoughts of 6-year-olds, and the US is monitoring the thoughts of their military, but it's ultimately for the same goal.
Same. Both eat crayons.
A lot of this was originally predicated. Yeah, that's funny. God damn it, Marines especially.
Salute the Marines.
Roblox, Roblox Icebox.
Into the Roblox chiller, ma'am.
Yeah, please. I don't know. What's your take on this then, Rose? Because again, this is a story I've been following for quite a long time, but. I guess I just linked this to you today, so
so this isn't one which I've had a lot of chance to look at it for myself. I mean, I've been aware of some things that have been happening with like various parts of the US military over the last week. Like there was the guy who worked for the Space Force, the lieutenant colonel, who was fired for claiming that Marxists had infiltrated the US military. There's already kind of like a policing of thoughts kind of going on there when like whether or not like that's actually exactly what's going on. We had the conversation before about it, that the Marxists, who are the ones, as much as they do infiltration into various organizations, are they really the ones calling the shots, or is this just the or are the elites just using them as useful idiots and they just don't want to bring it to anyone's attention? But if they're going to start, that already kind of shows that they do want to police people's kind of opinions on various things. It's not like he came up with some sort of like disparaging racial-based comments or anything. It's just saying that there's too many Marxists. Ideology is different to race. So they've already kind of shown that they'll get you in trouble if you have the wrong kinds of views. I mean, there were talks in January after the appalling siege of the White House, like the worst atrocity to ever happen on U.S. soil since the Civil War, apparently. That they wanted to, kind of
the right
check whether, they kind of
arrested.
they wanted to check where like soldiers' loyalties lay and stuff, in terms of the way that they voted. So I remember hearing about stuff like that. So
do we not remember the whole thing in the inauguration of the fact that they didn't trust the National Guard ammunition in case they turned round?
Yeah. That was a big thing. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff I've heard as well from active service personnel who I can verify personally their identity, and like
Trump's Space Force is already calling out the threats. Trump's still winning even when he's been ousted.
Yes, that's true. Well, apparently they're trying to criminally indict him in New York now, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
Southern District, by any chance?
Yeah.
The madness of an American soldier
New
getting
York.
called out for being anti-commie, though.
I know.
I mean, what has happened in the world since? I mean, this is madness.
Bring
Mind
back
I don't
the
know.
car.
The thing is, you say it's madness, but what happened to McCarthy?
Yeah. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Did you see someone said the other day with all what was going off with Israel? I was like, oh, Israel's having its January the 6th. I was like, hold on a second. Israel and Palestine are blowing the crap out of each other.
That happens every week, though.
And that's
years.
regular. And likening that to some January the 6th, which was, basically,
next week, guys.
They're going to start calling it 6-1 or something.
Oh, it was so.
There's going to be
minor.
a 1 year anniversary of 6-1. Like,
I hope
watch
they
it
actually
next year.
restage it at that point, but for real this time.
Yeah.
and Roblox.
It's like a reenactment.
What they did? There's like a reenactment, and they
Oh, we forgot to bring blanks this time. Douche, 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 douche.
Well, there's that whole. We probably can't bring it up here, but there's that whole thing about the defense of the people on January. I don't know where that came from, but apparently the lawyer for a lot of the defendants.
Yes, it was the Q shaman guy.
Yeah,
his lawyer essentially described all the people that were there on the day as what was the phrase he used?
Short bus people.
Yes, short bus people.
Well, they did look a bit that way, didn't they? There was one guy.
The biggest atrocity, according to the Democrats, the biggest atrocity to happen on U.S. soil since, even worse than 9/11, worse than Pearl Harbor. And it was and effectively they were almost, in their words, they were nearly killed and overthrown by people who take the short
Nancy
bus.
Pelosi's phone, and everyone's 5-year-olds were crying.
Yeah, I'm going to say there's been hockey games with higher death tolls than that.
It was the only people that died were people shot by like equivalent to this. Or the equivalent of like special forces or special service or secret service or something like that.
It was the special internal police.
Yeah, because the capital specific police force basically has a zero accountability, despite the fact that there was like thousands of them already there.
They have the capital district, which is its own little district, has its own police force, and it is the highest number of police per capita in the US. Because they just keep voting to enhance the budget. They have the most police protection of any people in the country, which again should show you what they think of normal people and what they think of themselves.
Oh yeah,
But
defund the police in in like inner cities, where people are at high risk of crime, but increase the budget around. It's such dystopian bullshit.
I think there's
I really think it's such dystopian.
I think it's like one police officer for every 20 person who work, like 20 people who work in the
I bet
capital.
it's the other way around.
I don't think it is because of AIDS and everything like that.
What, AIDS?
AIDS, yeah, no. The staff of the Capital District has ballooned as well as.
I'm glad that he's trying to get that.
Yeah. There's a lot of staff there, but the theoretical maximum number of people who could ever be at the Capitol building at one time who are registered employed there, I think the ratio is 1 police officer to every 20 of them, which is ridiculously high.
Yeah.
Considering that large amounts of the US, multiple towns are only patrolled by 1 police officer.
Well, I think as well, they receive training that is nowhere near the same low standards as local police force in America either. I think if I'm right in saying it's sort of almost special forces counter-terrorism style training.
That's not what there's FBI and there are special Delta Force people who are assigned to the Capitol, and there's DC's own SWAT. That it is one of the most secured places and one of the most security states kind of zones in the world. It's with all the fences and everything now and all the National Guard that are still deployed. It is very reminiscent, as I keep talking about, of the Iraq Green Zone.
Yes.
It is what happens, functionally when you get a
imposed leader.
Yeah, it's an imposed government that is very separate and shielded from the people, because it has to be, because it's fearing for its own destruction from those it supposedly rules over with consent. But
so you're saying the American government is afraid? They all have AIDS, but they're secure in that.
Yeah, they are very secure in their AIDS. Yes, them and their AIDS are very secure.
No one wants their AIDS. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
No.
Imagine being a congressional aide, lol.
Or having congressional AIDS.
One of my favorite things is when that guy with Doug Walker and Nostalgia Chick and all those people went to Washington, and the Congress people wouldn't even meet with them. They sent their aides who were very confused by what they were talking about.
No wonder they all look so face the pocket bloody AIDS.
Can you imagine someone sending their aides at you? I mean,
yes.
It's like anthrax.
Oh yeah, the nostalgia critic ended up with senatorial aids, is what I'm talking about.
We can only dream.
We can only dream, yeah. I don't know. Anyone else have anything else to say about that story?
No.
That's degenerated rather rapidly. It's lovely. Wonderful.
Yeah. So we have one more seal. So let's bring out the seals one last time. So there are going to be some new seals. So a viewer actually reached out to me after last week's stream, and she said that she's gonna work on some new seals of news. So she's gonna take her time on it and make some top quality seals. So these guys are going to go into retirement real soon, so we need to we need to take care of them.
Severance package for them.
They will still be around. I mean, they're in the background.
We need to take, I don't know, maybe I can go and make it if you want, but if you can send me that image, I can go and put these seals up in a sort of heavenly place with people like Saddam Hussein and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Saddam and the Mormons.
Yeah. And
no, they would be with good people. They'd be with good people because
you trying to say Saddam Hussein wasn't good people?
He was our guy, okay. They're big and all that.
So, these are the good seals, like the child terrorist seal. It's the Pentagon.
Maybe that's actually, we should have the Hall of Fame of no context seals, just the one in the bottom right that says child terrorists.
Is the crypto seal? Is that a seal that's pretending not to be a seal?
No, it's something that's not a seal pretending to be a seal.
Crypto seal.
There's a lot of classic seals. There's the diaper fur seal. There's the roof candor forever seal. There's the Kenosha seal. The gay train seal.
There's been several pedophilia seals.
There hasn't been a boxcar seal yet, though.
Not yet.
No, I don't think there has been.
There will be.
Ben Shapiro tried to reason his way out of the boxcar seal.
Day of the rope seal.
Day of the rope seal.
Day of the snow.
There's the Hunza seal. the China seal. Like there's plenty of classic seals.
Yeah.
There's plenty of classic seals.
Yeah, that's what I call seals.
It's just a seal doing this.
I call right. So we'll go. We'll bring up the last seal of the week then, which considering all the other events and stuff that we've been talking about, this one's actually a massive non-story. But it's more the surprise that someone.
It was the fucking. It was on the front page of the BBC website. I like to double check what the normies are reading about. And it was front
page. It was front page on almost everywhere. It was front page of the Daily Mail. I think the Telegraph reported on it as well. The Guardian, like this, and it was trending. This is huge news. Lots of people, praising Demi Lovato for being so brave and coming out with some new pronouns when literally nothing is changing about her except I now use they/them pronouns.
It's just that the hair got for it.
So, I think she now has brown hair as opposed to blue hair, but I love how Gay Times just kind of picked like the perfect non-binary picture.
It's the flat dyed hair bowl cut.
Yeah, if an individual with bangs should be avoided at the least.
Yeah, we've learned this. Mm-hmm. We're still working our way through X-Files, and we've noticed a trend of really terrible 90s bangs.
Yes.
I think there was a stipulation in a contract somewhere that no one could be more attractive than what's the name who plays Scully?
Gillian Anderson.
Yeah, Gillian Anderson. Yeah. So they either have to have a bad case of man face or terrible bangs.
Yeah, I think, and that also brings us back to Demi Lovato because they both have incredible man shoulders.
Childbearing shoulders, as you will.
Childbearing.
Yes, big childbearing shoulders.
I'll give one credit to Demi though. Like in her coming out, she didn't as far as I can see, unless something else has come out. She hasn't whined on about how oppressed trans people are, which is the. I'm sure it will be because everyone else who comes out nowadays is like, especially if you're a big name. You have to play the oppression card.
Wouldn't that technically be like a gender reveal party? At least she could have been based about it and done revealed it by blowing up a federal building or something. Yeah,
and made sure the smoke cloud was a sort of generic color.
In Roblox.
Yeah, it's just it's not even in Roblox. It's in Second Life now.
Does this mean
WoW Classic?
Is it in Habbo Hotel?
Yeah, we're gonna.
I was going to say, someone that knows more than me about individuals such as the ilk of Demi Lovato, are they capable of telling me whether or not this individual has children? Does that make them like a they or a
baby? Remember the babies?
No, I'm wondering what's the parental version of that? Did it become like a
variant?
Oh my god, no! A variant.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh god. Demi Lovato has a vagina, if that's what you're asking.
That's you can't say that. That's a hate crime. The police are coming around now.
I know.
The police and the milkman is coming around.
But I wanted one just quick super chat. Jedi Knight Anna Quinn cringe walk with the $5. Ah yes, the binary choice of being binary or non-binary. I did just want to highlight some quite funny NB coverage over the last week. So there is a new mayor of Bangor in North Wales who is a non-binary, and so this is how Mermaids, the gender charity, kind of charity in quotes, dealt with the coming out. There's a growing list of transgender and non-binary elected officials across the globe. A 23-year-old in Wales made history when he was elected mayor of Bangor City this week. Owen J. Hercombe. That's a fucking
Owen J. Hercombe. Oh god.
Spelled C-U-M as well.
Yeah. Mermaids use the wrong pronouns.
Yes,
they looked at someone called Owen, who looks like that, and used he. Now they actually tried to backtrack from this because they were obviously called out.
Of course they were. Yes.
Obviously called out.
How could they? So
let me show you what their response was.
Jizz for jizz.
Wait a second. Where's it gone? There it is. Right. Okay. It's this one here.
Jizzer come, I barely knew her.
Oof.
So here, this is what their response was. Earlier today, we shared a tweet that misgendered Owen, and for that we are sincerely sorry. Making sure we get people's pronouns right is always important, and even us of the trans community make errors. We can. This sentence is amazing. We can own our mistakes and grow, and also maybe delete Grammarly. So that's not actually owning their mistakes. So they blame Grammarly for misgendering a male named Owen.
Because what they're typing otherwise makes no fucking sense.
Well,
even the EIs know this.
Actually, Grammarly responded.
What?
Here, Grammarly supports the singular they, and we take issues like this very seriously. Using your original tweet, we couldn't reproduce a writing suggestion that would misgender. Could you please DM a screenshot of what you saw to help us troubleshoot? Oh, and they actually deleted that. They deleted it. So they actually got called out for it by Grammarly. So no, you cannot blame it on Grammarly. You cannot blame it on Grammarly. You actually, you looked at this man named Owen and used male pronouns.
That's a man, baby.
Yeah. I just they can't even just take the responsibility and just think, actually, you know what? If they just left it, it's okay, sometimes we get it wrong. But it's the fact that they then try to pass it on to the blame onto the app that they were using. That for me just says a lot, because they can't actually be honest and think this person has a man's name and looks like a man and is a biological male. And so that's why we used a male pronoun. Even if they were just we'll do better or whatever, fine. I wouldn't really care too much about that. But they passed on the blame because they can't actually admit in public or even to themselves that somebody who is a biological male called Owen might actually be a dude.
This is true.
Might actually be a dude. So we've got a super chat from Gary Thomas at $10. Thank you, very generous. Hey Rose, as for Demi, I can't help thinking this is a distraction from when people were making fun of her for complaining about low-fat frozen yogurt. That is actually a good point, because she, up until very recently, she was getting shit about that. I don't really follow her a lot, but I actually was aware that there was something about the low-fat frozen yogurt that got a lot of people pissed off. So it is coming out as NB is always a good distraction. It's and I know that earlier in the video I said I don't want to do stories where I'm just oh, look at how stupid this is, but I did anyway. I'm a hypocrite.
No, it's fine. Like I said, it's okay as long as you don't think that is worth that there's actually worthwhile activism.
Yes,
but it does help to have someone who is pushing back and at least chronicling a little bit of this, and then going on to look at the deeper issues that cause it, and then what can be done about that, rather than just going, get mad at NB and wait for next NB.
If the point is relayed forward that ultimately a lot of the stuff that is done in regards to LGBT activism is just postulating for power grabs.
I'm at the moment, I'm kind of making sure a lot of content in the future goes a lot more in depth in these things. I talked about it a lot whilst you were being talked to by the police. It might be worth you watching it back, find out what happened whilst the police were here.
I'm sure, without making an ooh-woo, I'm sure Scrump can fill me in.
All right, and so now it is time for the seal of the week.
Hooray.
And this week's seal of the week isn't one seal. It isn't two seals. It's 50 seals.
50 seals.
50 seals. Amazed family spot 50 strong pod of seals on East Yorkshire Beach.
Oh, is this like a beach landing they were doing?
Is this
Look at these seals. Look at them. Look at them bounce. Look at all of them bouncing.
They're galumphing.
They're galumphing. Look at them galumphing giants.
If only this person could have held their phone in the correct orientation,
I know.
and also, got a proper shot.
But you know, like
they were so fascinated by the galumphing. that
Yeah,
they
the
decided-
galumphing just overwhelmed
look at
them.
that galump. Like
I'm gonna zoom in and out and shake the camera all about.
In their defense, like seeing that many seals that close, you know, that's gonna, you know, that would be like you know, that's the kind of experience that stay with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, you might actually just like overload and drop dead, Rose.
Yeah,
I would. Like, you know, just look at them. Aren't they beautiful? Aren't they beautiful? Okay, so I just need to quickly make a straw poll because I forgot to do that again.
Yeah, I think we just automatically need to give it to you.
what? Because I technically get
actually-
threatened with an arrest
I actually-
midstream.
Yes.
Yeah, because I don't think anyone can beat that.
No, we've cancelled. We've put a halt on the democracy.
Yeah.
The democracy has been halted. Oh, they've changed the orientation. People who change orientation. Oh, and the thumb. Oh.
Oh no.
I think it's some Daily Express could have fixed that.
Yeah.
No, I think possibly, unless you have to clip it yourself, I might have to come back and steal a component of this live stream for the sake of bookmarking the event that happened earlier.
Yeah, that was a little odd, but very cute seals though. It is interesting seeing 50 of them. That's like
50. That's you know, like that is the kind of content that people come here for.
Yes.
Look at them, they're still coming. They're still coming. Like there's still more of them. Like, you know, just as soon as you think like, oh, there's, you know, like that's a lot of seals right there. That's
Where
a
do
lot
all
of
the
seals.
seals
Like,
come
no,
from?
more seals. More seals come. More of them bouncing along. Like, you know, these are harbor seals, by the way, for those of you who are interested. These are harbor seals. These are the most common seals in the UK. And they are incredibly cute. Like, look at him. Look at that seal.
It's quite nonplussed there. Look at the seal.
That face.
Every time I do it, makes me go lump.
They are just doggos of the water, aren't they?
They are doggos
like,
of the sea.
Doggos of the sea.
Water dog.
The way I see seals is the way I see dogs is that dogs are just seals of the land. Dogs are seals of the land.
The thing is, here is the real question though: is would you have a pet seal if you had the opportunity?
If I had the space for one, I would love to look after
like a backyard pool and sort of rock enclosure.
I would love to have a seal sanctuary.
Yeah, we need to buy Rose her seal sanctuary.
Yeah, once the boog is over and wealth is redistributed back to the masses, we all must chip in.
We're gonna turn the immigration centres into seal
sanctuaries.
Yeah. Less migrant landings, more seal landings.
Says another super chat from David Prince of $25. Thank you. It is a pleasure to listen to Rose and her friends. It is especially nice to listen to the shorter post presentations. Thank you, Rose. Oh, thank you. Very generous. The seals. I mean, like, these are good seals.
They're good seals.
And so with that, I think we've come to the end of this week's pretty eventful.
Very eventful.
Very eventful.
Yes, just a chill
seal of approval. Which, you know, wasn't what I expected.
It's not what any of us expected.
Me neither.
What I expected. But, you know, we're on the, you know, like in a couple of months, you know, if this all, you know, kicks off, you end up getting arrested and there's going to be protests, you know, like the liberalists will be reformed.
Yeah, we're going to reform the radical wing of the
get the bands
Everyone
back
better
together.
be out in the street with posters of Lenin, of him wearing a T-shirt with a Gadsden flag on it.
Very esoteric imagery, yes.
Yeah, and you know you'll be this video here. This is the ground floor. This is ground zero.
Yeah, hopefully we won't have to you know, rescue you from a police station in EVE Online.
That's almost Phil Stalinism, very based.
I'm gonna say I'm trying to think of like more obscure video games to keep going into that are online.
No, never EVE Online, not again.
Not again.
Not again. 3 years of my life that game cost me.
Gonna have to mount a rescue mission in Club Penguin.
So before we go, does anyone have anything they'd like to share?
Well, yeah, all three of us really are part of contributing to a series on my channel called Democratization, which is quite dense and quite long. And we do have a special episode tomorrow featuring all three of us about Keynesianism and its effects on the economy, because it is, the system by which all modern states, for good or ill, mostly ill, organize their economies and plan their economies. So, yeah, tune in tomorrow, 9 p.m. If you're still here, that is.
Yeah, it should be. I was going to say as well, if you want a peek inside the mind of the individual who decided to put most of the ideas together for a lot of that stuff, my Twitter handle is the same as my screen name that is muted, of course, on here because I am a ghost. And we'll see how long that lasts for.
Yeah. Brian E., we already mentioned RuneScape, but yeah, Joshua Chandler, EverQuest. It's all going to go down in EverQuest.
James Bond's Nightfire.
James Bond's Nightfire.
I have to rescue me in GoldenEye.
Good Nightfire. Great. Anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you all for the super chats. It's been a fun stream. We'll be back next week for more, and hopefully I'll be able to get a video out at some point soon. Anyway, thanks everyone. I'll see you all next time.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.